You know, Music and Words Unite is only possible because of viewers and supporters like you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Mark cry. Hello and welcome to another episode of Music and Words Unite. I am your traveling co-host, Troy, in the hotel. I'm with my friend and co-host, Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Hello.
And today we are excited because we have another album review, and this time it's a Patreon request from one of our lovely Patreons, Tier 3 Patreons, Jeff, who has requested a full album review of Dalbello, hopefully I'm saying that right, and the album name is Whore. Now, Mark, I have never heard of this artist. You're laughing. I have never heard of this artist.
Why did you say it like that?
Well,
Whore.
I don't know how to say the word whore or what else. I don't know.
It's taboo.
But yeah, Jeff, I just wanted to say, I debated doing this, but I said, I really want to get this done for Jeff because he requested, I want to hear the thing, but I've been traveling for work a lot. So I said, you know what? Let me just do my best here, with the AirPods. And you know, our first ABBA episode was done the same way, and it was pretty successful. So who knows? That's what I thought. So anyway, Mark, I hadn't heard of this. I'm guessing you hadn't either, right?
Oh, no, I've heard this like 60 times. No, I've never heard this.
Okay, all right. So if you're new here, welcome. What we do is a combination of a reaction and like a full album review. It's more of an album review than a reaction per se. And then like a kind of a podcast where we deep dive into certain topics from the album and stuff like that. So Mark and I listened to this album multiple times before recording this. We took some notes and now we're going to talk about it. So if you see me reading my notes, looking down, that's what I'm doing. All right, Mark. Well, this artist, from what I was reading a little bit about this artist, and she started in the 1970s, I believe, but her first, or no, she had multiple albums, but there was an album that came out in 1987, and it had a couple kind of hit songs on it, I think, one being Tango, another one, Black on Black, and apparently this. There's a lot of kind of crossover or follow up from the previous album to this album from what I was reading, and even some of the themes potentially. So something very interesting about the previous album, She, all right? So after the success of her album that came out in 1984, Dalbello and co-producer Mick Ronson planned to follow up, but Capitol Records and manager Roger Davies passed over Ronson against the Bellows' strong objective. So basically, she wanted to work with this producer, it seems like. She then submitted 4 self-produced demos to the label, which were flatly rejected. They wanted a real producer. All right? In an act of equal parts frustration and cunning, Dalbello resubmitted the identical demos under the pseudonym Bill DeCello, a transparent anagram of her own name. The label and manager called back excitedly, declaring that they loved the new demos and that Bill was the perfect producer. The same music rejected when attributed to a woman was embraced when given a male name. All right. So apparently there's a lot to this story, but basically the demos were submitted under a male name. The label seemed to like it. And then there was a lot of apparently falling out, or once the label realized that this was actually not a male. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that happened in the 80s, and it has to do with this concept of, you know, the way women are treated in society, the patriarchy, right? And so I think she was just kind of almost proving a point to the label at that time, and it seems like it worked.
One of the things that I saw that on her 87 album, David Gilmour plays on a track.
Oh, wow. That's
just
pretty
like
cool.
really random, but like really cool at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
That's really the extent that I saw. But like, I just want to say that the album art reminds me of like that old Microsoft like Maze screensaver. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yes.
Where it like goes through like the maze. It also reminds me of Doom, like the game from the 90s.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So
well,
let's get on with it then.
All right, so let's listen to the first track. We're gonna play a clip. Excuse me. The first track is called "Heavy Boots." Let's see what this one sounds like.
I say, book of matches. Let's run for our lives, our lives are rested. Let's go to Stella. Deliver up the diner. Oh, deliver the chocolate. Shine up the metal. Put down your foot to the pedal. It's all been settled. Damn these heavy boots. I pull out these roots. And these boots are heavy. Damn these heavy boots. I kick off these shoes. And these boots are heavy. I slam these heavy boots. I pull out these roots. And these boots are heavy. Damn these heavy boots. Damn these heavy. Destined to death. Hit her up
All
and
right,
so
Mark. You want to go first or you want me to go first? That was a clip from Heavy Boots.
Oh, it's
What do
totally
you?
up to you, man.
Okay, I'll go first on this one. I have a good bit of
Okay.
notes. One of the things that jumped out at me about this track is the bass tone, a bass guitar tone.
Mm.
It's really groovy. Of the bass, kind of has like a funk vibe to it almost. A little bit of a hip hop rock, metal ish hip hop thing going on,
It's like
which
alt metal.
yeah, doesn't surprise me. This came out in 1996, I believe. And at that time, that was kind of really the beginning of new metal, I guess, in the mid '90s, right? I'm not his new metal
Yeah,
historian, right? But that's
yeah.
when it kind of started to catch on. And I think she was probably influenced by some of that music that was going on at the time. And so that was one of the things that jumped out at me. The pre-chorus reminds me a lot of Alice in Chains. That's one thing that stuck out at me.
Mm.
So, for example, I'll play a clip from this part. Say,
Let's go to Stella. Deliver up the diner.
imagine like Lane Staley singing that part in the background. So they remind me a little bit of Alice in Chains, which is always a good thing. Mark and I think that Alice in Chains is the best grunge band. I think we both agree there. Not Nirvana. So I just want to throw that. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to start some flames here. I
Hmm.
thought the chorus was pretty catchy. And the second there's like this vocal attitude that she gets in the second chorus and the last chorus, which I thought was really cool. So I was kind of not really, I didn't know what to expect from putting this on. But overall, I guess I wasn't expecting like a new metal style group or a funk style group with some rock. Maybe not new metal per se, but yeah, overall, I thought it was a cool song. Lyrically, I don't want to touch on it as much as I want to talk about some of the other songs. I don't, but I do think that overall, it was a cool song. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I was definitely not expecting some kind of like alt metal slash like hard rock type song. Just given like I don't know. I don't even know what my like expectations were. I just wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting like a like singer songwriter type who's just like kind of like a Melissa Etheridge almost, like just like you know Queen of Pain type thing. Like I hate myself, I
Hmm.
hate everybody.
Right,
Um,
right,
which
right.
according to the lyrics of this album, it still kind of is. But um,
Hmm.
I can appreciate the like the alt rock stuff going on here, especially on this track. It's I mean I'm gonna like it's it's kind of heavy for what it is really.
Hmm.
And like to touch on your point about like new metal starting, this is probably around the time when Korn really got their start. Um,
Okay. Okay.
One band I can think of off the bat that like kind of was influential to like the new metal scene. Um, didn't really take off the ground until like the very late '90s, early 2000s. But yeah, I have to assume that she was kind of influenced by some of the stuff that was around at the time,
Right.
which is cool, because we love new metal here. So um, can really appreciate that. This is a cool song. I think it starts off the album pretty strong, like pretty rockin'. So
The only thing I wish the song had a little bit more of is the mix is weak on the guitars, actually. I think
Yeah.
if the guitars were more prominent in the mix, it would sound heavier. Now, maybe that's not the choice they were going for, but maybe in my brain I went, oh, like alt metal, new metal style. Okay, crank up the guitar so we get some more headbanging, you know? And it's a little
Mm.
more groovy and funky than it is headbanging, I would say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a fine line in the mix to make it one way or the other.
Mm.
And so that was one observation. So maybe for me, I would have liked to turn up, but who am I? You know what I mean? I'm just a basic consumer of music here.
You're a
But anyway,
Dalbello fanatic,
yeah,
aren't you?
yeah, yeah. I'm learning all about Dalbello. So yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the next song, which is Easy. I'm gonna play a clip from that.
Easy.
I've been caught in the middle. I've been looking up for something. If I try just a little, I'll be pure for nothing. You know you better leave me. As long as I'm breathing, this girl ain't going down. I ain't gonna go easy, easy. Nobody's getting down. Don't wanna go easy, easy. I've been trying to prove it.
And I wanted to play a quick clip from the bridge too. Let's see. Just by- All right. All right. So, Mark, you could go first. What did you think about Easy?
Yeah, this one also kind of really follows the like alt metal soundish. Honestly, when it starts off, it has like kind of like twangy guitars, so I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was kind of like
Yeah.
country sounding a little bit. But that's only really in the beginning. It doesn't really sound like that too much throughout the rest of the song. Um, you know who she kind of reminds me of on this song? She like her
Hmm.
vocals kind of sounds like a little bit like Alanis Morissette to me. I don't know
Oh,
if
I
you
can
hear
hear
that at
that on
all,
this
but
one. Yeah, a little bit on this one. Yeah, on this one.
kind of like that, like kind of like taunting, like almost like in your face style type of vocals, which is very cool.
Right.
I like that. Um, yeah, but this song is cool. Like that bridge part in the middle is very very interesting. I don't really like have like a ton to say about this. I didn't really have the. I don't think is this album on Spotify because I remember like looking because I listened to it on YouTube. Um,
I believe it
okay, it
is.
is on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, okay. Um, so I didn't really look at the lyrics too much, but I kind of like have an idea of what this album's about because I read
Okay.
that she based it off of like a poem that she wrote called "Whore" and it kind of like blossomed into this album.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
That's true.
so I assume you probably read the lyrics more than I did, because I'm
I did. I didn't talk about on Heavy Boots as much because I wanted to spend more time on some of these other songs. I
okay.
think, especially when we get to the next one, I'll be talking about it more. But this one, I do want to talk about the lyrics for a second. For
Okay.
me, this is song is about kind of defiance or escalating defiance. I think this album is really talking about again the historical relationship between men and women and those with with power and those without power, and the dynamics between the power dynamics between men and women, and in particular, and if you think about it, like the whole Harvey Weinstein situation, right? How people take advantage of their positions of power especially men over women, things like that. And
Okay.
so I can see how this song "Easy" seems to be talking about like it seems like to me she's saying, "Hey, you've tried to keep me out, you've tried to hold me down, but it's not going to be so easy, right? I'm going to keep fighting." So it's kind of like this defiant fighting for individualism and for who you are, right? And not letting people keep you down. So it's kind of a fighter song, and kind of has this kind of badass spirit to it.
Mm.
Overall, though, I thought the music was cool. I mean, it's got another funky bass groove. This time, it's like the bass guitar. I think the previous song was like the bass guitar and a little bit of synth. This one
Mm-hmm.
seems to be more of like a natural bass guitar tone. I think the chorus is pretty catchy. And yeah, I love the way her vocal delivery throughout this song, and it does have this escalating delivery of defiance, which I thought was pretty cool. So overall, different than the first song, but nice that the fact that it's different. I thought it was pretty cool. So
Right.
all right, the next one is the one I want to talk about the most when it comes to lyrics, as at least as a starting point, and that is the title track, "Whore." All right. I know you like if I say it that way. Okay.
Or
So, yeah, here we go.
The blunt from the cut spills the milk from her veins. The sacrifice, the sum of all that remains. She summons the courage and proffers a drink. She undoes her pure urge and offers the pinkness of all that is potent, of all that is pure, of all that is sugar, as sweet as liqueur. She purges herself of what has kept her bound. She plunges the wealth of her values and drowns in her shallow assumptions and tallies the score for the face of an angel is the face of a whore. I'll give you a good face.
All right. I want to play the ending, though, real quick. The ending reminds me so much of Nine Inch Nails. So, this is like a brand.
Face of an angel. I'll give you a good face. I said I'd give you a good face.
The little synth melody. It reminds me a lot of "Closer" by Nine Inch Nails.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so I'll go first on this one. Very interesting song musically. It has more of a Nine Inch Nails feel to it, to the music, and which I'm always big fan of that.
Oh yeah.
Nine Inch Nails is awesome. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna warn you out there if you're watching. I'm gonna go a little bit deep here. All right. Now, forgive me, but that's the point of doing these episodes, right? We want to get deep on certain topics. Otherwise, we could just say, "Oh yeah, the album was great," or "The album wasn't good," and see you later. Right now, but we got to talk about what the artist wants to talk about here, right? So there's an essay here, all right, by a poet named Joan Riviere. 1929 essay called Womanliness. Man, that's hard to say. Womanliness as Masquerade. That's the poem title. All right. And so in that poem, actually, it's an essay, not a poem. Excuse me. I should correct myself. There's an essay. I'm going to edit this part. Okay.
Okay.
In 1929, Joan Riviere wrote an essay called Womanliness as Masquerade. All right. And in that essay, it argues that womanliness itself could be assumed and worn as a mask. Now, think about that. The idea of being a woman or being womanly is being assumed or worn as a mask, and that there is ultimately no difference between genuine womanliness and their performance. So Judith Baker extended this in Gender Trouble, 1990, arguing all gender is performative. So, and this really, I think, parallels with a film, actually, Mark, that I personally think is one of the most interesting films I've ever seen, and maybe one of the most profound, I would say. And that film is a film called Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick.
Hmm.
Have you seen that movie before, Mark?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people don't have watched that film and they have no idea really what that movie's talking about. And if you have, and that's you, I don't blame you. It's not the most easiest thing to understand, especially on a first watch. Um, but that film, I believe, is has a lot of themes to it. But one of the major themes is about power dynamics and putting on masks and let's call it how society treats women. That's I honestly believe is a big part of it. And for example, society and capitalism and patriarchy. So there's these parallels in the film about money and sex that are constantly going back and forth. In fact, there's some cool theories out there that if you want to get into this stuff, that Stanley Kubrick did where he used these Christmas lights themes of red and blue Christmas lights, and he would put these red and blue lights throughout the film, and they represented one color represented money and one color represented sex, and you could see it in different scenes actually. And if you think about the climax of that film, or not the climax, but the biggest scene, which is the masked ball kind of orgy scene in that film, in order to gain access to that, you had to put on a mask, right? That was kind of the theme of that. And all the men, the women had to wear these masks. And the mask, you put on a new face, essentially, to guide who you are, right? To pretend to be performative. And by doing that, by stripping away the individualism, it allows the, let's call it misbehavior or objectification or dehumanization of the women in that party. Let's call it that, right? And I think when she's talking about in this song "Whore" and maybe some of the concept of the album is this concept of putting on a mask as a woman and having to perform in a specific gender role as to what people think you should be, and also having your personal, in some cases, identity stripped from you to perform for other people. And so maybe she was experiencing that in the 80s with her record label, right? Maybe she had experienced this with other men or whatever the case. And so I think there's a lot of parallels between power dynamics of the music industry and the entertainment industry and a film like Eyes Wide Shut. In fact, when I was reading the lyrics, I was thinking a lot about that film because that film had a kind of a profound impact on me. And the last thing I'll say is if you think about it, what's going on in the world right now, I'm not going to get political, but this is just a true, what's happening. The whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal, right? And everything that's going on with that. Really, that's about a similar topic as to what they were addressing in the Eyes Wide Shut film, if you think about it, right? It's about the commodification of women in sex and not seeing women, and particularly young women, as human beings, but objectifying them and thinking if you have money and power, you can do whatever you want with these women and treat them like horse, essentially. And so, I think I think there's a lot going on between reality, film, and music in this album. And throughout the album, I was picking up things that she was kind of putting down. You know what I mean? In some of the lyrical themes as to what's going on with Parallels now and what Stanley Kubrick was trying to connect. So for example, in the song "Horror," she keeps repeating the word "I give you good face," right? And I don't think she meant. I think maybe there's a double entendre there. Um, because she's talking about being a whore, but I don't think she means it in that way. There's a modeling term about giving face, actually. And I think she's talking about there's a parallel to kind of putting on a mask, right? And being the whore that, from the outside perspective, people want. or whoring yourself out is another way of thinking about it. Maybe not even sexually, but whoring yourself out for power or for money or because you feel like you have to in a society which forces that on you to be successful. So that is what I got out of this song, Mark, and that was kind of the overarching theme when I was reading the
Whew.
lyrics to that. So yeah, what do you think about that?
Troy, I'm not even gonna say anything. How can I even follow that? Just go to the next song. All right, I don't have to say anything here. Are you
Okay.
kidding me? What the hell am I supposed to follow up with that?
I don't know. I was just wanted to have a conversation.
College essay. Holy shit. Oh man. I mean, like, what the hell can I even say here? Um I-
You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. I just maybe I'm off the deep end with this one. I don't know. I just got inspired
no,
when I
I
was
mean
yeah.
that was crazy. That was like I was listening to like a college like thesis or something. Jeez, man.
Okay. Well, I'm
That
a
was
big fan of
awesome.
Eyes Wide Shut and Stanley Kubrick. So
Yeah,
all right,
that's
yeah.
awesome. And
So,
the comparison was like pretty interesting. Um
okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't even really know what to say about this song, to be honest. It is very. I have to think that she at least took some kind of inspiration from Nine Inch Nails, and if not
Hmm.
just Nine Inch Nails, like, I'm sure Closer was everywhere on the radio at this point in time. So
Hmm.
I mean, you don't get a feel for like Downward Spiral, then I don't really you don't really listen to Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
Yeah, it's just it's very like refreshing to hear this kind of stuff because like I said, I was just expecting like a kind of like, ballad type singer songwriter like Woe Is Me, but she's like this is like very alt rock and very like Nine Inch Nails sounding to me.
Hmm.
Which is um that's really all I have to say cuz Troy
Okay.
kind of did the rest there, so
No problem. No problem. We can move on. I just wanted to say, yeah, so cool song, cool topic to talk about. Not something I would typically think about in music, but
yeah.
spurred that thought, especially if someone that's the father of a young female, thinking about these topics is very interesting for me, and it actually might help me think about how I should. I don't know what I should do with this information. I need to reflect on it. But if there's anything I can do to better prepare my daughter when she's older or she's growing up, for
Mm.
a reality, to how to deal with a certain reality, maybe I should be thinking about that. So there you go, Dalbello. All right. The next topic is 11. Song, excuse me.
I follow head over heels, taunting me like a messiah. Says, do you believe in me? I feel you're a caller for me. The line between truth and desire crumbles so easily. I count 11. I count 11. I count the seconds and the minutes seem like hours to me. I count to 7 and the heat turns up another degree. I count 11 for the reasons why it happened to me so easily. I count 11.
All right.
11.
So that was a clip from 11. What did you think about this song, Mark?
This one's different than the other ones. This kind of has like a crescendo beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like builds up until like she kind of explodes in the chorus.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
This
Yeah.
one, the lyrics were much more apparent to me
Okay.
listening. Um, so she constantly says, "I count 11." Given like
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the lyrics that I read, um, kind of seems like she's counting like maybe like broken promises
Mm.
or
Okay.
like maybe times she's been let down. Um, because she says like, don't save my soul, don't raise my hope. If all's forgiven, I count 11. Kind of like
Right.
just being let down, I guess. I don't know, like most lyrics are ambiguous and but yeah, that's kind of like the gist of what I got from this song. The music is cool, especially when it breaks into like the chorus, like when she like kind of just really like goes off and just like sounds pissed,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
pretty cool. Um, this song kind of has like less of an alt rock feel to me and more of like a straight
Hmm.
rock song. It's got that like how would I really describe it? Like the almost like punk like beat to it. It's not like groovy like or like alt rocky like the other songs. It's more straightforward, I think. Um, and I think this is like the only track that was like they wanted to release as a single, if I read correctly. Um, I don't know
Okay.
if any tracks were released as a single, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got out of this song. What did you think?
For me, this song is one of the highlights of the album for me as far as standout tracks. It's
Okay.
very a slow build, a slow burn,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very intense in a way. And I like this. I think there's some strings that start coming in throughout, and it starts to sound very much like something you'd hear in a film, like in a movie
Okay.
soundtrack. And I thought that was pretty cool. Lyrically, I totally get what you're saying. That makes sense to me. I will add on one thing I got out of it was it seemed like if you what's what's beyond 10 so like if you count to 10, right, typically if you say okay you count to 10, people typically don't say count to 11, right? That's like an odd thing to
Yeah.
say.
Right.
And so what I was thinking was this is like maybe all this trauma that happened to her. 11 is the breaking point, you know.
Mm.
11 is like pushing beyond what she can take or pushing beyond the limits, you know. And so maybe it's something like maybe through this it was too much to take and it's beyond what she can deal with and that has changed her in some way. That's kind of what I was getting out of it. But overall though, cool song. I mean,
Yeah.
very moody and atmospheric, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that was it.
Right.
Then the next one is Falling Down.
Like the times that I swore, like the one that I part, like a blinding fact you can't ignore, like the motion that delivers you forward till you can't go back, not anymore. Can't dive into an ocean and not leave the ground. Can't trade in your devotion for what you haven't found. Can't go beyond the limit without falling down. You can't go beyond the limit without falling down. And it's not what I say, it's a lot what I do. 'Cause you can't go back, not on your way. It's the moment when you're riding on fear that you can't look back. You live and
I wanted to get to this part. So,
when it's suddenly all clear what I needed most to live and lovely worst lovely days for falling.
all right, so that was some clips from Falling Down. I think I'm first on this one, right?
Yeah.
Um, this might be my favorite song on the record, actually. It's one of them.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really good, man. I love that opening guitar part. Kind of reminds me of Van Halen a little bit, like
Mm.
Sam Hagar. Sammy Hagar, Van Hagar. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, listen to that guitar tone at the beginning, man. Hold on, let's see. It's got a
Do, do,
little Van
do, do,
Hagar
do,
going on.
do.
Listen to this. Listen. It's kind of got this clean guitar sound, but with some distortion over it. That's what Eddie had in like the late '80s, early '90s. But anyway, I really like that. The melody's really nice in this one. It builds, and then when it kicks in with the drums, man, it's a pretty powerful build. Um, some of the lyrics at the end kind of strike me. It says, "You can't throw away the minutes. You can't go beyond the limit. You can't tell the tale to live it without falling down. And it's not what I say. It's a lot what I do. What a lovely day for falling down." So when I was reading this song, I'm like, okay, um, what's she trying to persuade here? And maybe I'm not as sure about this one as some of the other ones I was looking at, right? Um, and but falling down maybe being a metaphor for failing, or right, it happens to everybody. I mean, life is a series of ups and downs, right? I mean, and that's just sounds cliche, but if you think, I think that's something to honestly consider. I mean, how often, Mark, I mean, have you been in a situation where like, I'll just maybe I'll just so you know one day throughout during the day you'll feel happy, and then something will happen and you'll get sad, and then it's like whenever you feel happy, if you think about it, you're going to be sad or angry or upset at another time in life, right? So, like, it's always a series of ups and downs and roller coasters, emotions in life, right? And I think
Hmm.
sometimes when you're in the down part, it's important to just think about that because you know, if you only focus on the down when you fall down, it's hard to get back up. It's hard to enjoy life, right? So I think when I was reading this, I was like, okay, maybe it's just talking about that. Maybe it's talking about that aspect of life. I could be totally wrong on that, but that's what I got out of it. Mark, what did you think about this song?
Yeah, this song is. I really like this one too. I kind of connected with it right away when I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like slower. That like riff in the beginning. It's like I don't really know what it reminds me of. It's almost like bordering on like kind of like dream poppy. Like it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I immediately thought of like Cocteau Twins when I first heard it. I don't know why, even
Wow.
though it doesn't really even sound like it, but um, it just kind of has that like atmospheric sound to it. Um, yeah, this song is very interesting. It's unlike the other ones we've heard, where it's like slower, but it's still dark, and it has like a lot of like percussion in the background too. I don't know if you caught a lot of that. Like I don't really know what kind of percussion. Like I think she was playing like maybe like some kind of like wind instruments maybe, or like some kind of like playing a triangle or something in the background. I can't really pick up on what she's playing, but another thing I wanted to add about this song is that Tommy Lee played drums in this song.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah,
pretty
how
cool.
weird is that? Very very
That is
strange.
weird.
I did not. I don't even. I would have never guessed. Like
Right.
um. But yeah, this song is cool. Like I said, it's like slower. Um, I think it has more emotion too than the other tracks. Not saying that all of the songs aren't emotional, but
Mm-hmm.
she seems like she kind of gets more emotive in her vocals here. Um, but overall, it's a cool song. It's like dark alt rock. Yeah, Tommy Lee.
And also, one thing to note about the last song, 11, which I talked about maybe pushing someone beyond the limits, right? She actually says in this song, can't, she repeats it, can't go beyond the limit without falling down. So maybe she's talking about like being pushed beyond what the limit through trauma or through these different situations in life. And maybe going beyond the limit is, I don't know what falling down means in this case, but and I don't know if it means making a mistake, feeling depressed, or something worse. But she says what's ominous about it is she says, "What a lovely day it is for falling down. Can't go beyond the limits without falling down." So I don't know if what exactly falling down is a metaphor for, but Could be something much darker, actually. I'm not totally sure because I'm new to this artist, so I'm just trying here. But anyway, a good song though. It's a good song. The next one is "Oh Little Boy."
Baby boy, baby boy, little boy, baby boy, baby boy, little boy, baby. I hear your voice obsessing, still in my view, obsessing, lost in my world. I can't be without you possessing. I gotta keep him out of my head. I gotta keep him out of my head. I wanna be alone with you. The sound of everything that's true. I wanna be alone with you. Eyes like a giant, noon at night.
All right. So that was a clip from "Oh Little Boy." What do you think about this song, Mark?
This song was very cool. It has that, that like Egyptian flair sound to it,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Mm-hmm.
love so much whenever it pops up in music. Um, it's like this song's definitely more funky. It has like syncopated drums. It's almost like kind of jazzy in a way.
Mm-hmm. I can hear that.
I like
Yeah.
I like their vocals when it opens, the baby boy, But that
Yeah.
was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, I like this song a lot, and it's funny because this is the only song on the album that wasn't written by her. Actually, it was written by her husband and her sister-in-law. So,
Oh wow. Okay.
um, yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, it still has the same feel as the rest of the album. It's kind of like, once it gets to like the chorus, it's kind of like rockin', alt rocky sound, even like bordering on metal. Um,
Right.
but yeah, like I do really like this track. I like her vocals on it a lot. I like the groove and the Egyptian sound. Um,
Yep.
this is one of the ones that stood out for me. I think I did like this track a lot. So what did you think?
The music is very hip hop influenced, I would say. In
Mm,
fact, there's a musical mode for the music nerds out there called Phrygian, which is used in a lot of metal music, especially 80s metal, but not just 80s. It's used in a lot of metal. And I believe that's what's being used here. And you know who used that a lot, from what I remember, I believe, is the Neptunes, like Pharrell, and a lot of their production in the late 90s and early 2000s was using this type of mode. And to me, this kind of sounds like an early version of a Neptunes kind of track where it's got this funky hip hop style vibe in this Phrygian mode. And I thought that was really cool. I thought the music is cool. The one thing that stood out to me more than anything is the lyrics, because when you
mm,
read these lyrics, they are quite disturbing, actually. Um, and when I read it, I was like, oh, if you think about what she's talking about in a lot of the album, which I mentioned with the Eyes Wide Shut parallels, right? About power dynamics between men and women, right? How often, Mark, have you heard a story where a young male will have sexual relations with an older female, and that young male might be not of legal age, let's say. Okay. Um, and, nowadays it's a little bit different, but growing up, a lot of that stuff was kind of treated as, oh, yeah, like that's what boys do. Like when I was growing up, like the idea of a boy or a teenage male, let's say, right, or a younger man, having a relationship with an adult female was almost like this fantasized thing for a young male, and it was present in culture. For example, like, a song like "Hot for Teacher" is all about that, like the fantasy of that from being an adolescent, for example, right? And when I read these lyrics, maybe I'm just interpreting it, but it reads like a woman is being a predator over a younger male. Okay.
Mm.
And but I think it's clever because if you think about what she's talking about from the woman's perspective on this album, it's almost like if you were to invert this, instead of calling it "Oh Little Boy," make the make the name "Oh Little Girl" and put the same lyrics. Do you think this song would even fly?
Not today, no.
I don't even think you would have in the '90s, because if you read these lyrics, it says like, "I gotta keep him out of my head," repeated, right? She says, "Eyes like a child, noon at night, will be here soon. Noon at night, I'll lock the door and be safe without you. I got to keep him out of my head. I want to be alone with you, the sound of everything that's true. I'll hold you hostage in my room. I want to be alone with you. Oh, little boy across the street, you are the one I'd like to eat. I'd like to taste you. Oh, so sweet. Oh, little boy across the street. I'm like a mirror watching you, just like a knot you can't undo." So if you flip the genders of this song, this would be, people would be like, what? This is some, like, PDF, I can't say the word on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
song, okay? But if you just put the word "oh little boy" instead of "oh little girl" in a weird way, I'm not suggesting anything positive about this. I almost think it's a creative way of talking about the patriarchal and power dynamics between men and women, right? Because, like, I think it's just a clever way of telling that story in a way, and or just talking about power dynamics between men and women. Because even something like a male who's not of an adult age, potentially, right? If there's this idea where it's not as bad if it's that way versus the other way, right? And there's an implication there that maybe the men just have this power dynamic over women to where even something like this is not as bad. I don't know. I'm trying to think through it, but I do think there's something she's trying to say with this song, specifically around that topic, and I do think it ties in with the horror song and some of the themes of the album. And yeah, and there is this theme that's going on through the album, and also, of course, with the film Eyes Wide Shut, like I talked about. I might as well just keep talking about it, because in that film there's this scene where, I don't know if you remember, but there's a father. I think it's yeah, there's a father where he walks in and his daughter's having some kind of like threesome or something like that with a couple guys. I don't know if you remember that scene. And then later, the main character, Tom Cruise's character, comes back and he's prostituting his own daughter out later.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole scene was talking about, and she's underage, that girl, right? And that whole scene is kind of talking about, I think, maybe telling the story about how men and men in power do this to younger women. And obviously, we now, I mean, any rational, good human being sees that as wrong, right? But it seems to be prevalent in society. So I think maybe this song is a clever way of turning that on its face and kind of putting it in front of you without it being banned. Because if it was the other way around, the song would probably be banned. So it is an interesting dynamic there between men and women, I think she's getting to. So that's what I got out of this one.
Okay. All right.
A long way of I was trying to make my point. I think I got there, but anyway. So about it, this is a touchy subject to talk about, to be honest with you, and I think that's why the album is pretty interesting. The next song is "Deep Dark Hole."
You might be dumber than I really care to think.
from that was a clip from Deep Dark Hole. There's a song this reminds me of. The song is called Shockadelica. Go check out Shockadelica by Prince out there if you're watching this, and go listen to
Oh.
this. There's some similarities in the melody. I'm not sure if she's influenced by that or not, but it's one I got out of it. It jumped out to me. Super funky song. There's an instrument in this song called a Jew's harp. Have you ever heard of that?
A Jew's harp?
Yeah, I'm not making that up, and I'm not trying to be funny or like that. It's literally called a JEW''S harp. Look it up on Wikipedia, and I believe that instrument is being used on this song. Is a lamellophone. Is an instrument consisting of flexible metal or bamboo tongue or reed attached to a frame. Actually, it was originated in China. So there's some interesting instrumentation going on in the song. It sounds like there's a clavinet too. There's a funk groove going on.
I definitely heard the clavinet.
Yeah. There's a funk groove going on. There's a lot going on in this song. And I appreciated the groove, man. I appreciated the creativity around the instruments used. So, what did you think about this song, Mark?
Yeah, it's definitely the funkiest one that I've heard so far on the track or on the album. Like the clavinet was definitely apparent when I heard that. I thought that was pretty cool. I think it also has an instrument called a dumbeck, which is basically a goblet drum, which I mean, there's so many different types of drums. So there's a lot of like very interesting instrumentation going on this song, which gives it a lot of body and like kind of like gives it like a world feel, which is cool. Yeah, this song was really cool too. I like how funky it was. I liked her vocals on it too. She does this really like one vocal part in like the middle where she's like, and I thought that was pretty funny. I appreciate her like unorthodox vocals all throughout this album, which is pretty cool. It's kind of strange to me that she never really took off because I feel like this album would like in 1996 probably like could have been huge, you know? It was very unlike anything else that was around at the time. And it was still kind of current with like the alt rock feel to it. This song is cool. This is a very cool song. It's another one that I liked a lot. Yeah.
And also the person playing the Jew's harp is named Gord Pryor, who is a recognized figure in the North American Jew's harp community, which I didn't know was a thing, but I'm learning about that. Known for his involvement in the North American Jew's harp festival. So apparently there's a YouTube video about it. You can check it out. There's a lot about that going on.
Has no relation to the Jewish people.
I don't know. I don't know why it's called a Jew's harp, but let's see. Maybe there's an explanation. History of North American Jew's Harp Festival. Look at this YouTube video if you want to learn about that. Okay, so here we go. So there's a lot I'm learning about from this album. A lot going on here. All right, so thanks. Shout out to you, Jeff. The next song is Yippee.
Yippee-yi-yay. Tell me which way the wind is blowing. Way you call it.
That's Yippee. That's a clip from Yippee. Man, this song is unique. This song is different, man. Actually, in the pre-chorus, it does have that Nine Inch Nails feel too. In the pre-chorus, actually.
Mm.
So I think there was definitely some Nine Inch Nails influence on this record. Which how could you not be influenced at that time if you were making this kind of music? So, but yeah, overall, I don't have as much to say about the lyrics on this one. I thought the music was really fun. Um, I'm not. I mean, I was reading the lyrics to this one, and it says the chorus says, "You don't think about it tomorrow, not afraid of dying. You don't act your age. It don't even hurt to swallow. Got away with lying, not even if you let it show. Cruel age, swing that cage out. Let's cause another chain reaction. This place smacks of rage. What that gat and see all that's crashing down." Okay, so this one I'm not so sure about the lyrics, to be honest with you. When I was reading, I was like, okay, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. But overall, the music is pretty fun. It's cool, different. What do you think about this song, Mark?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think like starts out like kind of just thrusts you right into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is like a very interesting, like her attitude is very like kind of like, you know, in your face, like kiss my ass type attitude, you know what I mean? If that makes any
right.
sense.
Like
Like a
sarcastic, like yippee,
Yeah,
that kind
exactly.
of
Very
yeah,
raucous feel, like
right.
um this track's also kind of like it doesn't have as much depth as the other tracks. I feel like it's very like more stripped down. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's almost I don't even know. Like it's very a lot of the songs are very different. The name of the song kind of caught me off guard. I did kind of chuckle when I saw it. I was like, "Yippee!" Like
Yeah,
yippee. That's like kind of what I was expecting. Like, but I
right.
think it was more of like a yippee I type thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, very interesting track. Almost like a fight song. Uh,
Okay.
like almost like chanting too a little bit. But yeah, I mean it's cool. I respect it.
All right.
Oh, I wanted to say one more thing. The Jews
Yeah.
harp. Back to the Jews harp.
Mm-hmm.
One example, which is on an album we covered, is "Sleeping Village" by Black Sabbath. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
It starts
Wow.
off with like the acoustic guitar, like the do 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 do, and it has that like boing
Mm.
boing. That's the Jews harp.
Right.
Yeah.
I have no idea, man. I'm learning a lot from this album, man. I'm learning a lot. Thanks, Jeff. You're teaching me all kinds of stuff here about the patriarchy and the Jews are part of what I'm learning. But yeah, so thank you. All right, the next one is "All That I Want." I was just gonna say, "All that she wants." So when I see that title, I think of Ace of Base. All right, here we go.
Come on out to play. Hear the mermaids say, river sweep and bend. The sea can be your friend. Water's cool and deep,
All right.
calms my
All right, Mark.
sleep.
I think this is me, right? This one is very interesting, man. This one, that chorus, I'm telling you, man, the Nine Inch Nails is strong on this album. When I heard that chorus, I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah, for me, I I don't know if I like this one as much as some of the other tracks, but all the tracks on here are pretty cool, man. And she really does love storytelling and has this whole concept going on, right? So, for example, you remember there was a song about falling, right? And she's repeating that in this song, where she says, "Come out to play, hear the mermaids say, rivers sweep and bend, the sea can be your friend. I'm falling. Where do we meet?" And the chorus is, "All that I want to do is bring it up onto you. Girl, all that I want to do is give it all that I got. Give it all up. All that I want to do is bring it up onto you." Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting song. I mean, is this maybe one where she's flipping the genders again? Because she says, "Girl, all that I want to do." So as she's talking to a girl. Now I don't know. Maybe she's also maybe in her real life she's lesbian or bisexual. I have no idea. So I don't know if this is literally talking to a girl or flipping the gender role like the other song. I'm not sure. But the point is, though, I think this song is cool, though, and I do think, again, I do appreciate that the groove in the chorus that we just heard, right? And the drama and the way she's able to storytell through her vocal ability, right? And through all kinds of different vocals and harmonies going on in this record and in this song. And the creativity around the vocals stood out to me. How about you? What did you think about this song?
I actually like this song because I like how it had like almost like atmospheric like you know like ambient parts almost like kind of like
Yeah,
before the chorus,
yeah, I can
um
hear that one. Yeah,
with like very soft vocals, um and I actually like the chorus too. I like her like vocal melody is really cool.
yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah, it is
she's
good.
really good at that, writing the
Yeah,
melodies. Yeah,
she is. She's also good at sounding like really like kind of pissed off too, and like almost
yeah, for
like I
sure.
said in like
Yeah.
the last song, like basically screw you type attitude, which is like
Right.
it gives it a big flair. And yeah,
Yeah,
the Nine Inch Nails love is definitely apparent throughout this album.
yeah.
So I mean, this track was cool too. I like if it's anything like somewhat ambient or like kind of atmospheric, I'm gonna like it a lot because that's like some of my favorite music. So this is a cool track for sure.
All right. And the last one is Sleeping. Let me make sure I get it right.
Revenge of Sleeping Beauty.
Revenge of Sleeping Beauty. Yeah,
Egyptian.
yeah. This is it.
Behind the veil, skin is pale as a virgin. Feel velvet red drapes the bed like a curtain. Next thing she drinks from a vial. Give her the river that soothes her denial. What if I got to do it? What if I got to do it? Far from the world that she's in, away from all she defends. This story's moral depends on Sleeping Beauty's last revenge. How long has she been sleeping? Beauty's only steady bit. She forgives herself, depends on Sleeping Beauty's last revenge.
All right. That was a couple minutes of Revenge of Sleeping Beauty. I think it's on me, right? Or is it on you? You tell me. I can't remember. I'm listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting late. Me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll go first on this one. I have the, well, a lot to say about this one being the last song. I think this is lyrically very interesting stuff. First of all, the music. It's got the Phrygian mode again. It's got the Nine Inch Nails vibes again. It's got, I'm seeing a theme across this album musically. But the lyrics are striking. And this is my last kind of correlation between some of the themes in Eyes Wide Shut in this film, in this music, this album. So in Eyes Wide Shut, I have a bunch of notes I wrote, by the way, about this. So Alice, who's played by Nicole Kidman in the film. So there are different readings of this film, but this is my personal reading of it. Um, Okay, she is placed from the beginning to end under the male gaze herself, and women remain objects of male desire, which has led to their even greater objectification and commodification in our postmodern, late capitalist world. So essentially, there's this in this song, Revenge of Sleeping Beauty. Um, this track deconstructs the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale, right? There's lyrics like "Behind the veil, skin as pale as a virgin, fear velvet red drapes the bed like a curtain. The prince's rescue kiss is recast as theft. I steal the kiss right from her lips. Stealing kiss from her lips, I steal them softly while she's sleeping." So the consent here aspect of it is absent, right? The revenge is the Sleeping Beauty waking on her own terms. So, for example, as she says, if she forgives herself, depending on Sleeping Beauty's last revenge. So the masked woman in Eyes Wide Shut in Somerton at that party, right? Those masked women are living Sleeping Beauties, like beautiful, silent, veiled, passive, displayed. And Alice, the main character, is the Sleeping Beauty who begins to wake through her confessions and dreams. So basically, this song is talking about consent and lack of consent going on in these types of power dynamics, and then overcoming that and getting your revenge and breaking out of that, right? And it is somewhat of a self empowerment song, but through the lens of revenge, right? And so my last take on it is overall, there's a couple themes that I want to talk about. There's the whole idea of commodification. So of this in this album. So the concept connecting, like the concept of horror of this album is connecting the literal sex work in the Eyes Wide Shut film. So I did write an essay on this, what I'm saying, to the metaphorical prostitution that Bella describes, selling authenticity for acceptance. And so both of these kind of works argue that under capitalism and patriarchy, all relationships risk becoming transactional. And I think that is a very interesting topic to think about when it comes to men and women dynamics or capitalism. So if you think about the idea of all relationships becoming transactional, even in marriage, so that's a very interesting thing to think about. I'm not saying my marriage is that way. I'm saying there is a risk in any kind of relationship when you have a dynamic between a man and a woman, or someone who has money, or someone that makes more money than the other person, all those types of things. There is a relationship between these dynamics becoming more transactional. There's a risk of that. And so that's something to acknowledge and, of course, try to prevent if you want to have a good marriage or a good relationship.
Mm.
And anyway, I thought, I really think that there's a lot going on in the lyrics of this song, and yeah. So overall, cool album, man. It's a cool. What'd you think about this song?
Yeah, I mean, besides being like 6.5 minutes long, this is like definitely the most like in-depth song I'd have to say on the album. There's
Yeah,
a good bit going on. Um, like you said, it's in Phrygian mode. It
hmm
sounds very metal. It sounds
right, right.
still kind of has like the Nine Inch Nails thing going on too.
hmm
Um, has like the whole like Egyptian sounding thing in the beginning too. Um, her vocal performance, especially on this song, was very very strong.
It is. It's probably my
She has
favorite
a
on
lot
it
of
too.
really great vocal melodies on this song. A lot of like high notes. Um, it's almost like she was auditioning for like Motown on this song because she really kind of just belts it out. Yeah, I think the song was really great. Um, I would say it's probably one of the best on the album.
Yeah, I agree.
Lyrically and musically, I think this is probably, I would say, what most people would say would be the best song on this album, just because it's like the climax of the whole album.
Hmm.
I didn't look too much into the lyrics. I just kind of like read over them a little bit, but um, yeah, this song is great. It's a good way to cap off the album. Um, yeah, I can't really follow you as much with what you said, because it was just so in depth and interesting, and you really caught me off guard with that one. So I have to
I
say
warned you before we recorded this. I said I really
you
put some
did,
thought into
and I
this one.
should have taken that I should have taken that warning more seriously.
No, it's okay.
No, that was really
Yeah.
cool. That was a great comparison.
Thank you. You know, that's to me, that's the fun of doing these type of long form episodes is you get to deep dive into certain topics, and it just sometimes
Yeah,
just it becomes more than just about the music itself. You know, it could be about what the artist is trying to tell through a story or through the intent of this album. And I think I
yeah.
don't know
And then
if I got
my
it.
dumb ass just focuses on the music. I didn't even really kind of just jump into it as much. So
Well, it's okay. Yeah, the music is cool though. And it has you know, the summary is mid '90s. You know, really some incredible vocal performances, right? It's got the grooves, it's got the funk, it's got some Nine Inch Nails, it's got some rock, it's got world music stuff going on. It's got a Jews harp, which
mhm,
hadn't heard before, but apparently I had heard on a
mhm.
Black Sabbath record. So yeah, it's got it all. All right. Well, I wanted to thank our Patreon, Jeff. Thank you so much for this recommendation. We are happy to check this out. Spend an hour and 20 minutes with you doing reviews, comparing it to Stanley Kubrick films and whatever rabbit holes we want to go down. So thanks for that, Jeff. If you're still watching, though, appreciate you. Please give us a like. I promise I'll get my stuff together when it comes to better microphone and maybe not. Well, I don't mind doing stuff on the road though. So, but I forgot to bring my mic as well. But anyway, so I got to go with the old AirPods. So I'll do better next time. And please give us a like, give us a subscribe if you like this kind of content. If you want to hear more deep dives into albums, reaction videos, short form. I can't speak. It's getting really late. Album reviews. All right. Please give us a subscription. And Jeff and Mark and I are in our free community Discord. And that is our music club. It's 100% free. You want to come in there, talk about music. It's all good time and fun. Link for that in the pinned comment. Well, Mark and Jeff, until next time,
Bye, Jeff. Bye, everyone.
see you later.